Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the prayer service dedicated to the Black community, titled Our Lives Matter Then, Our Lives Matter Now, A Hope for Tomorrow. My name is David Hall, and I'm the director of the Unity Center and assistant director of 21st Century Scholars. This collaboration is taking place from my office, the Union for Black Identity, Campus Ministry, and also the Black Faculty and Staff Network. We ask that Christians and those of other faiths join us in a time of prayer and dedication on the celebratory day of Juneteenth. For those that may not be aware, Juneteenth is the oldest nationally celebrated holiday of the ending of slavery in the United States. President Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation in January 1st of 1863 is the legislation that granted slaves freedom. However, it wasn't until 2 years later, June 19th, 1865, until enslaved people, particularly in Texas and southern states, were notified of their freedom and rights. Although the new legislation required plantations to begin paying anyone that worked on land, former slaves began migrating elsewhere to maximize their opportunities. June 19th then became a day of celebration for African Americans throughout the country to utilize the day for praying, fellowshipping, commemorating ancestors, and celebrating their freedom. Although the Black community celebrates the day, we also recognize our recent struggles through our treatment, hurt, worry, and lack of equity. Our country has made great strides in progression. However, the Black community has continuously faced systemic oppression and suppression. With the recent happenings of police brutality and other forms of racism occurring at a rapid pace, we pray that the actions of God and the presence of God work even faster. Today, we not only pray with and for the Black community, but we as Christians stand in solidarity with them with action items as well. Thank you for your time and your prayer.
Thank you, David, for your wonderful introduction Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adam Meyer, and I'm proud to serve as the Vice President for Missionary Ministry and Director of Campus Ministry here at Marian University. And I'm humbled to be participating in this prayer service with and for the Black community at Marian University, in Indianapolis, and our nation. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. famously said once in an interview in Meet the Press that 11 a.m. on Sunday is the most segregated hour in our country. And so I'm also humbled to be starting off this prayer service with you, David, here in the Bishop Chartrand Memorial Chapel in Marian Hall at Marian University, as a sign of our community coming together, as a sign of the Franciscan values being a way forward, and as a sign that our faith unites us as a Marian University community, as a community of Christians, as a community of believers, and as a community of all people of good faith who want to restore peace and justice in our city and our nation. And I think it's important to remember that one way which we do that, not the only way, but one way, is through the use of prayer. And so today we're inviting you to pray with us and to reflect with us into this situation, not as a way out of the situation we're in, but into the very situation. And so what that means is that first we're going to sit in the discomfort of the injustice of racism prevalent in our country. This means we're going to hear reflections by Marian University students, faculty, and staff. We're going to hear a litany of victims of racial violence. Finally, though, in prayer, we move to hope. And so we're going to hear two reflections that focus on hope, that focus on moving forward, and how Christ is our guide in this, as well as a closing prayer to wrap the whole thing up. I'm reminded of this verse, and it's a familiar one. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, in the conviction of things not seen. We can't yet see the end of this. I can't tell you that I have a solution to racial unrest, to racial injustice in our country. But I know that by working together here at Marian University, by working with the Unity Center, by working with the Union for Black Identity, with representatives of the faculty and staff, that we can play a part in building a more just society. And I know this by my faith in Jesus Christ, who came here as God humbled to man and served the people he loved even to death on the cross. And that by imitating his love and prayerfully reflecting on it, we will find a way forward. Before we proceed, I also want to invite Jalen Edwards, who is a rising sophomore, who is also going to give an introduction on behalf of the student body at Marian University.
Hello and welcome to Our Lives Matter Then, Our Lives Matter Now, Hope for Tomorrow, a virtual prayer service. My name is Jalen Edwards. I am a rising sophomore at Marian University. I am a Damiano Scholar, a 21st Century Scholar, a 21st Century Intern for Social Change, and the Marian University Alliance President. Welcome to our prayer service on this beautiful Juneteenth day. This prayer service is to pray for and with the Black community. In light of recent events that have been happening in America, the university has sent out several statements across the departments. I'm sure you've seen the many protests going on across America for all of the racial injustices that the Black community has faced, not just recently, but years and years dating back. I'm Afro-Latina, and I've participated in many of these protests, and it really hits home for me. So I'm very grateful to be a part of this prayer service. I just wanted to have you keep in mind and pray for all of those protesting and fighting for equality across America and across the world.
Thank you, Jalen, for that wonderful introduction. Now, David and I would like to begin our prayer service in earnest with a liturgy for widespread suffering from a resource called Every Moment Holy. Be merciful, O Christ, to those who suffer, to those who worry, to those who grieve, to those who are threatened or harmed in any way by this upheaval. Let your holy compassions be active throughout the world, even now, tending the afflicted, comforting the brokenhearted, and bringing hope to many who are hopeless. Use even these hardships to woo our hearts nearer to you, O God.
Indeed, O Father, may these days of disquiet become a catalyst for conviction and repentance, for the tendering of our affections, for the steering of our sympathies, for the refining of our love. We are your people who are called by you. We need not be troubled or alarmed.
Indeed, O Lord, let us love now more fearlessly, remembering that you created us and appointed us to live in these very places in the midst of these unsettled times. It is no surprise to you that we are here now, sharing in this turmoil along with the rest of our society. For you have called your children to live as salt and light among the nations, praying and laboring for the flourishing of communities where we dwell, acting as agents of your forgiveness, salvation, healing, reconciliation, and hope in the very midst of an often troubled world. And in these holy vocations, you have not left us helpless, O Lord, because you have not left us at all. Your Spirit remains among us. Inhabit now your church, O Spirit of the risen Christ. Unite and equip your people for the work before them.
Father, empower your children to live as your children. In times of distress, let us respond, not as those who would instinctively entrench for our own self-preservation, but rather as those who, in imitation of their Lord, would move in humble obedience towards the need and hurts of the neighborhoods and communities. You were not ashamed to share in sufferings, O Jesus. Let us now be willing to share in yours, serving as your visible witnesses in this broken world.
Hear now these words, you children of God, and be greatly encouraged. The Lord's throne in heaven is yet occupied. His rule is eternal, and his goodness, his good purposes on earth will be forever accomplished. So we need never be swayed by the brief and passing panics of this age. You are the King of the ages, O Christ, and history is held in your Father's hands.
We, your people, know the good and glorious end of this story. Our heavenly hope is secure. In this time of widespread suffering, then let us afresh in the surpassing peace of that vision, that your whole church on earth might be liberated to love more generously and sacrificially. Now, labor in and through us, O Lord, extending and multiplying the many expressions of your mercy. Amen. And now we will have multi-clip viewing of Black faculty, staff, students, and alumni and what their Blackness means to them.
My blackness is my commitment to my family and my community. My blackness is my perseverance, my determination, and my drive. My blackness is my gratefulness to my Creator, and my blackness is my purpose to myself.
My blackness, your blackness, our blackness is felt, loved, and appreciated. We matter. I'm Black, I'm proud, I'm a knight.
The blackness you don't see is filling out a place.
The blackness you don't see is hundreds of years of strength and determination. I'm Black, I'm intelligent, I'm a leader, and I'm a knight. My blackness is beautiful. Black lives are deserving of justice and dignity.
My blackness represents strength, courage, and determination. Enduring what we have as Black people, we know what the stakes are, but we're screaming for change, and we will get it.
The blackness you don't see is ignored.
I'm Black, I'm a professor, I'm a knight. Black lives are precious.
Black lives are some of the most important lives in American history, and yet Black lives are some of the most forgotten lives in American history. Black lives matter.
The blackness you don't see is a blackness that is sore from the constant obstacles that I've had to overcome to get to where I am today. It is also the blackness that is very fearful that my body may never heal from the soreness as I continue to have to overcome many, many more obstacles in a system of oppressions like the one in which we live in.
I am Black, I am Latina, and I am a knight.
The blackness you don't see is mistreated.
Black lives are powerful.
From the color of my skin, to the texture of my hair, to the curves on my hips, to the glow on my skin. My blackness is beautiful. To all my brothers and sisters, friends, family, colleagues, I speak for us all. Black is beautiful.
My Black life matters because I'm God's child.
My blackness is duplicitous. It is possessed and free. It is Nefertiti and Breonna Taylor. It is desired and forbidden. It is a benefit and a penalty. It is seen and ignored. It is everywhere and non-existent. This is my blackness, and my blackness is me.
Blackness you don't see is rising above the stereotypes.
My blackness is powerful.
My Black life matters because of my ancestry.
Black lives are phenomenal.
I am Dr. Sheila Denise Antley Counts, Assistant Professor of Liberal Arts at St. Joe Indy College. I am very proud to say that I am a Black woman of African descent whose ancestors were brought to South Carolina, maybe as early as the late 1700s, but certainly by the early 1800s. As I just learned last week, the names of my paternal great-great-grandparents, John and Acklin Postel Antley. Their son, my great-grandfather, John, was born in 1860. So my roots in America run deep, just as my blackness runs deep. My blackness is my lifeline. My blackness is my bloodline. My blackness is my inheritance. My blackness is my strength. My blackness is more than what you can see. And that's because my blackness is what it means to be me.
The blackness you don't see is inspired to make a positive mark in this world that can never be erased. I'm black. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made by God. I'm a knight.
My blackness is powerful.
Black lives are meaningful.
In recognition of the Black and brown victims of racial violence and America's silence, we speak their names. Dominique Clayton, 2019, Mississippi. Sean Bell, 2006, New York. Atatiana Jefferson, 2019, Texas. Jamel Robertson, 2018, Illinois. Ryan Matthew Smith, 2019, Washington. Derek Ambrose Jr., 2012, Iowa. Addie Mae Collins, 1963, Alabama. Carol Denise McNair, 1963, Alabama. Carol Robertson, 1963, Alabama. Cynthia Wesley, 1963, Alabama. Nicholas Hayward Jr., 1994, New York. Christopher Whitfield, 2019, Louisiana. Willie McCoy, 2019, California. Victor White III, 2014, Louisiana. Marcus Dion Smith, 2018, North Carolina. Martin Lee Anderson, 2006, Florida. Christopher McCorvey, 2019, Alabama. Bradley Blackshire, 2019, Arkansas. Timothy Thomas, 2001, Ohio. Reginald Dussett Jr., 2011, California. Your lives mattered. Danroy DJ Henry Jr., 2010, New York. Carvis Gamble Jr., 2013, Florida. Eric Reason, 2019, California. Corinne Gaines, 2016, Maryland. Rakia Boyd, 2012, Illinois. Keontae Spencer, 2016, Virginia. Darius Tarver, 2020, Texas. Wayne Arnold Jones, 2013, West Virginia. Manuel Ellis, 2020, Washington. Victor Duffy Jr., 2012, Washington. Kobe DeMock Hessler, 2019, Minnesota. Clinton R. Allen, 2013, Texas. Timothy Kaufman, 2017, New York. Corey Jones, 2015, Florida. Tyree King, 2016, Ohio. Eric Gardner, 2014, New York. Miles Hall, 2019, California. Your lives mattered. Kendrick Johnson, 2013, Georgia. Charlena Lyles, 2017, Washington. Michael Lorenzo Dean, 2019, Texas. Trayvon Martin, 2012, Florida. Renisha McBride, 2013, Michigan. Oscar Grant III, 2009, California. Breonna Taylor, 2020, Kentucky. Khalif Browder, 2015, New York. The Charleston 9, June 17, 2015. Reverend Clemente Pinckney. Susie Jackson. Cynthia Hurd. Reverend Sharonda Coleman Singleton. Tywanza Sanders. Ethel Lance. DePayne Middleton Doctor. Reverend Daniel Simmons. Myra Thompson. Your Black Lives Mattered. Darian Hunt, 2014, Utah. Troy Hodge, 2019, New York. William Green, 2020, Maryland. Ahmaud Arbery, 2020, Georgia. Dion Johnson, 2020, Arizona. Tony McDade, 2020, Florida. Jamel Floyd, 2020, New York. George Floyd, 2020, Minnesota. Your lives mattered.
Black and brown victims of racial violence in America's silence. Emmett Till, 1955, Mississippi. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., 1968, Tennessee. John Crawford III, 2014, Ohio. Ezell Ford, 2014, California. Michelle Sussex, 2014, Arizona. Tanisha Anderson, 2014, Ohio. Tamir Rice, 2014, Ohio. Jerame Reed, 2014, New Jersey. James N. Powell Jr., 1964, New York. Natasha McKenna, 2015, Virginia. Anthony Hill, 2015, Georgia. Philip White, 2015, New Jersey. Walter Scott, 2015, South Carolina. Alexia Christian, 2015, Georgia. Victor LaRosa III, 2015, Florida. Freddie Carlos Gray Jr., 2015, Maryland. Salvador Ellswood, 2015, Florida. Albert Joseph Davis, 2015, Florida. Billy Ray Davis, 2015, Texas. Michael Saby, 2015, Arkansas. Medgar Evers, 1963, Mississippi. Henry Smith, 1893, Texas. Michael Brown, 2014, Missouri. Dante Parker, 2014, California. Laquan McDonald, 2014, Illinois. Akai Gurley, 2014, New York. Rumain Brisbane, 2014, Arizona. Matthew Ajibade, 2015, Georgia. Frank Smart, 2015, Pennsylvania. Tony Robinson, 2015, Wisconsin. Maya Hall, 2015, Maryland. Eric Harris, 2015, Oklahoma. William Chapman II, 2015, Virginia. Brendan Glenn, 2015, California. Your Black Lives Mattered. Jonathan Sanders, 2015, Mississippi. Joseph Mann, 2016, California. Sandra Bland, 2015, Texas. Darius Stewart, 2015, Tennessee. Samuel Dubose, 2015, Ohio. Christian Taylor, 2015, Texas. Ashams Farrow Manley, 2015, Washington, D.C. Your Lives Matter. Felix Kumi, 2015, New York. Junior Prosper, 2015, Florida. Patterson Brown, 2015, Virginia. Anthony Ashford, 2015, California. Tyree Crawford, 2015, New Jersey. Keith Harrison McLeod, 2015, Maryland. Lamontez Jones, 2015, California. Dominic Hutchinson, 2015, California. Alonzo Smith, 2015, Washington, D.C. India Kager, 2015, Virginia. Levante Biggs, 2015, North Carolina. Your Lives Mattered.
And now we will have words of hope provided by Black faculty, staff, and current students.
I live in a time where I know my skin is not welcomed by all. Many who are like me have skin that has created this tall barrier built by a system of pure hatred and malice. For centuries, we have been taught that we are inferior, we are weak, and that our only purpose was to work for the one above you, and that you are expected to live at the bottom of others. Our people have been trying to climb this barrier named oppression for far too long. The reasoning for all this hatred is because they cannot see the beauty within our skin. Therefore, we are not worthy for equality and cannot live in the promised land. We are shot, we are beaten, and we are killed because they cannot see us as human. We are the generation to make that change. We cannot let the murders of innocent Black men and Black women be normal. We will not stand for a system built on keeping the oppressed oppressed. We will not allow the people in power to make our needs feel less than, because we need a change and we can no longer sit in the back letting it all happen. Our generation and future generations will make that change because we all deserve to live a normal life that is actually normal. It won't be easy, but we will take the stand to make it our present instead of the future. Because we cannot stand to be completely petrified every time we see a cop car driving around knowing that we are doing nothing wrong. We cannot live every day afraid of being shot or killed when we walk out of our homes. We cannot live with the possibility that our young sons and daughters could be murdered because of their skin colors. We must stand together to create our promised land instead of wishing for a better future. We must make a better future, starting now. We cannot go quiet. We cannot stop the fight. We cannot be tired, because it is our responsibility to do something about the killings, lynchings, and murders. Our responsibility to do something about all the wrongful convictions and longer sentences for Black men. Other generations have fought for us. It's our time to continue the everlasting fight for justice and equality.
Blackness is beautiful, versatile, bold, can never be replicated or stolen away. Our culture, abundant in strength and resilience, our history serving as a reminder of how and why we matter. To be told we are not valuable leaves us with broken hearts. To be told that we do not matter leaves us with open wounds. But not today, not anymore. Today, we shift the power. Today, we move towards healing and unity just like our ancestors did. I would like to believe if they were here today with us, they will lift up our chins, speak positive affirmations into our soul, and walk with us to fight for change day by day. That's what we should do for one another. So on this day in 1865, we were finally told that we were free. And on this day in the year 2020, we should ensure that that remains constant. Happy Juneteenth and go vote.
A reflection for men. The future is female. Right now, in our own city of Indianapolis, young women are marching, organizing, protesting, preaching, teaching, screaming, leading. At Marian, the example is set for us, for the Sisters of St. Francis and in the model of St. Clair as well. And of course, and our faculty members, our staff members, and our students who are doing much of the things that I talked about. Finally, throughout history, especially in American history, women, and especially black women, have been leading the charge. We need to reflect on the life of Marsha P. Johnson, Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, Evangela Davis, Toni Morrison, Lorraine Hansberry, and so many more. Men, we need to stand with, beside, behind, up, and for women. Reflect on the fact that it has still been so long since Breonna Taylor's death. And so nothing has been done. But together, but with our eye on those leading the way, the very women around us, progress can be made. Thank you.
And now, Dr. Sheila Counts will offer a closing prayer.
I was asked to contribute a prayer to this service, and I reflected upon how many times over the past several weeks and months and years I have felt Jesus calling, tugging at my heart and at my life, inviting me to invite him in both good times and bad, in all the times and in all the ways that we as a people need to look beyond ourselves. And so I went again literally to a Jesus Calling book by Sarah Young. And while this date does not reflect the date of our service, it is one of many, many entries that have both moved my heart and provided solace to a hurting soul. And I believe we all right now are hurting. So I would like to share these thoughts with you. I am all around you, like a cocoon of light. My presence with you is a promise, independent of your awareness of me. Many things can block this awareness, but the major culprit is worry. My children tend to accept worry as an inescapable fact of life. However, worry is a form of unbelief. It is anathema to me. Who is in charge of your life? If it is you, then you have good reason to worry. But if it is I, then worry is both unnecessary and counterproductive. When you start to feel anxious about something, relinquish the situation to me. Back off a bit, redirecting your focus to me. I will either take care of the problem myself or show you how to handle it. In this world, you will have problems, but you need not lose sight of me. And then Sarah Young goes on to quote from Luke, the 12th chapter, the 22 through 31 verses. Then Jesus said to his disciples, "Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat, or about your body, what you will wear. Life is more than food, and the body more than clothes. Consider the ravens. They do not sow or reap. They have no storeroom or barn, yet God feeds them. And how much more valuable you are than birds. Who of you by worrying can add a single hour to his life? Since you cannot do this very thing, why do you worry about the rest? Consider how the lilies grow. They do not labor or spin. Yet I tell you, not even Solomon in all his splendor was dressed like one of these. If that is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow is thrown into the fire, how how much more will he clothe you, O you of little faith? And do not set your heart on what you will eat or drink. Do not worry about it, but seek his kingdom, and these things will be given to you as well. Finally, I have told you these things, so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. John 16:33. Amen.